Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Springfield, Illinois, kind of in the west side area, and I am just right behind me is Dubois Elementary School. It was once a short-lived military camp, and this was where Ulysses S. Grant, or U.S. Grant, started his, or revived his military career. He has spent many years in the military, leaving there in 1854, and he resided in Galena, Illinois, and that was when right when the Fort Sumter attack happened, and Abraham Lincoln called for volunteers and troops, and he answered the call, came down here, and the rest is history. And we all know the success of U.S. Grant in the Civil War, and of course he was the 18th president of the United States. But I'm going to show you the spot where it all happened. Here we go. So here's the west side of Dubois Elementary School. This is actually not the entrance, but this is where the marker is, and I'll show you that. But Camp Yates was named after the Illinois Civil War governor by the name of Richard Yates, and the camp was bounded by today's Washington and Governor Streets and Lincoln and Douglas Avenues in Springfield. The 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 21st regiments in Illinois were formed at the camp. And June 16th, 1861 was the date that Ulysses S. Grant first took command of Union troops. Grant had accepted the colonelcy of the 21st Regiment, and his first duty was to instill discipline into the unit. He made his headquarters in a bungalow that sat where Dubois School is today. In other words, right here. And here is that marker. Site of Camp Yates in 1861. Here, General U.S. Grant started his Civil War career. And this was put here in 1952. There was an original marker, an obelisk, placed here in 1909, but it was removed for various reasons. And supposedly the obelisk is now in a residential backyard near Douglas Avenue and Governor Street. But Camp Yates' days as a military facility were short. Neighbors complained that soldiers from the camp destroyed their fences, stole chickens, fruit, and other stuff from their yards. And they wandered the streets drunk. Okay. The camp was also inconveniently far from the railroad lines that were needed to move troops in and out of the city. But within months, authorities decided to replace Camp Yates as the primary center of concentration and training for Union recruits in Illinois. Camp Butler was later built, and that is where Camp Butler National Cemetery is. I have a separate episode on that one, it's about a few miles northeast of Springfield. Now here is another marker right here, placed here in 1911, and this was the recruiting camp. Again, yeah, it lists all the regiments, and like I said, U.S. Grant was the 21st, placed here on the 4th of July in 1911. Wow. In 1864, he became the commanding general of the Army. He led the Union Army to victory in the American Civil War, and thereafter briefly served as U.S. Secretary of War. And he had a great presidency too, which he served from 1869 to 1877. He was an effective civil rights executive who signed the bill that created the Justice Department and worked with radical Republicans to protect African Americans during Reconstruction. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Springfield, Illinois. Sign off.